Every year, there are about 50 to 70 former D2 players on NFL rosters. For many who exhausted their eligibility in 2019, the journey to try to become one of those players starts Thursday. On this list, we will break down the 10 players most likely to get drafted with the help of scout Josh Buchanan. Unlike our first countdown, it's important to realize that the number in the bottom left is the player's number, not his rank on the list. This will better help you identify him in the video. Let's get started. Number 10, Roland Rivers, quarterback, Slippery Rock, jersey number 14.
He's got enough mobility, but he's not a dual threat by any means. He doesn't have the biggest arm, but he's got enough arm strength. He can pick up yards on the ground. Quarterback is the one position where really is a numbers game, and it can be hard. But keep an eye on him because he could very well be a good number 3, maybe even develop into a number 2 quarterback in the NFL. The big question for him is just going to be, arm strength, because he doesn't have a rocket, but he's got a good enough arm, and he was a very efficient quarterback as a senior. So there is an outside shot he gets drafted late, but if not, he'll be a good free agent.
Number 9, Dominique Davis, defensive tackle, UNC Pembroke, jersey number 93.
Davis, is about 6'1" and a quarter, 315 pounds. He plays 3 technique for them, but will do a lot of, stunning where he goes outside, rushes the passer from the outside or the inside. He's got pretty good strength and a motor. He very athletic guy. He's pretty interesting. He also should be a priority free agent that I expect to not get drafted, but he could make a roster. He's got a lot of upside. And, again, it's hard to find these D tackles with good athleticism and a motor, which he has. So he's another one. Keep an eye on him.
Number 8, Azusa Aha, defensive line, West Georgia, jersey number 51.
Azusa Aha, he's most likely going to be a guy that either is brought in to a 3-4 scheme and gains a little weight because he's a little light for a nose tackle. He's quick off the ball. He needs to improve his hands, but he is a big guy who can push the pocket. He's got good length to him. Very, very good tools to work with. Probably the best defensive tackle in Division II. It would surprise me a little if he got drafted, but if he does, maybe late 7th round. However, he's a free agent, so keep an eye on him because he's another one that I do think will latch on to a practice squad as long as he can bring a consistent motor.
Number 7, Marqus Andrews, fullback, Northwest Missouri, jersey number 15.
This is one that I feel like I'm low on, only because I don't have verified numbers. But he's one of those guys. He can get out there. He can block in the slot. He can be an inline blocker. He finishes his blocks. Will throw people off to the sidelines. He's a tight end from Northwest Missouri, but I do think that someone will sign him as a fullback, and I think he's got the potential to be a really good fullback. If he could be a little more dynamic in the receiving game, but he did flash that. He also played special teams, so he's one of those players I feel like because he's got good hands, he's an excellent blocker, and he plays special teams that someone will sign him, and he as well I think will make a roster.
Number 6, Chauncey Haney, defensive end, North Greenville, jersey number 11.
Haney is a major late bloomer here. Now, he's not going to get drafted. He is very interesting. He's really a one-year guy in terms of production. He was a basketball player. He is not twitchy or extremely fast, but he's very long. He's got almost 84-inch wingspan. He's got big 10.5-inch hands. So he's a big guy with size. He's very raw, but he's got a lot of potential. I don't think he gets drafted, but I do think someone signs him as a priority free agent. He's pretty good against the run. He's got a pretty solid motor. So I do think that he's got a very good shot to make it, but I don't think he gets drafted. If he does, it would be like a late 7th round pick.
Number 5, Prince Robinson, cornerback, Tarleton State, jersey number 24.
Prince Robinson has been a really good player for them. He did not get to test at his pro day, so teams don't have full verified numbers on him, but he did run a 4.4 verified 40 back in the spring at his junior pro day. He's got very good ball skills. He's a former receiver. He's got pretty good hands. He's one that could get drafted. It would be late most likely just because he didn't have a pro day, but I really think he'll be one of those priority free agents who ends up making a roster.
Number 4, Austin Edwards, defensive end, Ferris State, jersey number 8.
He's very interesting just because he's about 6'3", 265 pounds. He's got pretty good length to him. Probably could gain a little weight and be a 3-4 defensive end or be a 4-3 end. He's a guy that has a shot to get drafted 6th, 7th round maybe. Worst case, he'll be a really highly sought after priority free agent. But he's big, he's a strong guy, he can play the run, he can get in the backfield and stop the pass as well, get to the quarterback. He had 17.5 tackles for loss, 64 tackles, and 10.5 sacks in 2019. He's got a lot of upside, either be a late rounder or a first wave PFA.
Number 3, Matt Cole, wide receiver, McKendree, jersey number 88.
There's been a lot of love for him late. He's got good straight line speed. He as well, very good in the return game, versatile. He can play the slot. He can really be a utility player for you, like a gadget player, all-purpose player. Hand it to him on reverses, play the slot, play outside. He could be a runner if you wanted him to. He's a very dynamic punt returner, averaged 26 yards on punt returns, averaged over 27 on kickoff returns. The other thing about him, he had 18 tackles as well on special teams. So he can play all your special teams, and he averaged over 21 a catch. So he's a guy that brings versatility and speed. It would really surprise me if he was not drafted. He would be a great pickup in 5th, 6th, 7th round.
Number 2, Kyle Hinton, offensive line, Washburn, jersey number 68.
He is going to most likely be a guard or center in the NFL, but he's very athletic. He jumped over 34 inches, had a 10-1 broad jump, runs a 4.8 in the 40. So he's an athletic guy. He can get out and pull. He can block. He can run block and pass block pretty well. Plus, he is a pretty solid tackle. He just doesn't have the length there. So he could actually give you practice reps at all 5 positions and in a game play the 3 interior spots. So he'll either be a 6th or 7th round pick or a really, really highly sought after priority free agent.
Number 1, Kyle Duggar, defensive back, Lenoir-Rhyne, jersey number 2.
He's got height, weight, speed. He can run, very athletic. He can cover. He can step in the box, stop the run. Some people think he could play linebacker. Some think he could play safety. He's a very good special teams player, good in the return game. So he's a guy that immediately he can play your special teams. He can be a core player or he can be a return man, and then he could be a tweener backup who, depending on the scheme or system or the play for that particular, the call for that play, could play linebacker or safety. So he brings a lot of versatility, and he's got the measurables people look for.
A special thanks to Josh Buchanan for his analysis. Agree or disagree? Hit us up on the message board and provide your insight. We'll provide a link in the description. Until then, check our site and follow us on Twitter and Facebook so you can be aware of more content from D2Football.com.